Hello, everybody. This is Mike. And so I thought I would make one last video here. It is time for me to take a sabbatical from this channel, perhaps indefinitely. Um, we'll see. I'll give myself the opportunity to come back if I feel motivated to do so, but I think it's time for me to walk away from the channel. I'll keep it up, of course. I'll keep the videos up, but I will not be monitoring it, and I don't plan on uploading any new videos, at least for the foreseeable future. And the reason for that is because I'm just not inspired. I'm just not inspired to talk about it anymore. I'm losing interest. You know, the truth is that I made these videos because I found the subject matter incredibly interesting, and if I was coming to, if I had some big revelation and awareness about these things, I enjoyed talking about it and getting it out. This is one of the things that I do. I'm a writer. I'm an educator. So it really is quite fun and inspiring for me to do that. I'm not inspired anymore. I'm not interested in the subject matter anymore. And if I'm being honest, because I have achieved a level of healing, I no longer even remember so much of all of the intensity and all the inner nuances of what it was like to be with a borderline. I don't remember. It's getting to the point now where if people have questions, my response is pretty much the same every time, which is whatever questions you have, when you do the four things, those questions will either get answered or you will find them to be meaningless. And I absolutely stand behind that. And so since I'm not inspired enough to get into some of this stuff, I don't see how it's beneficial for anybody else. I won't lie to you. It is, what's the word I want to use? It's disheartening for me that so many people are absolutely, totally dead set against doing any kind of work to heal. That it's because that's what I'm interested in. I don't want anything less than the best. In fact, I can't tolerate the thought of having anything less than the ultimate best in my life. And if I'm going to do something, I do it with everything that I have. And if I want something, I want the best that I can get my hands on. And so I have learned through experience, not from intellect, but I've learned from experience that I can be 100% completely healed from the pain of these relationships. And I achieved that. In fact, I achieved that almost immediately. I started this channel 2 years ago and I made a bunch of videos literally talking to myself because I was on the precipice of absolute, utter, hell. And, I was thinking about suicide on a daily basis and I was just in horrific pain. And I needed help. I needed somebody to talk me through it. And there wasn't anybody available to do that. So I did it for myself. And so then when I was in pain and I wasn't healed yet, it was really important for me to talk about what borderline personality disorder was, to talk about the mental illness, to analyze what their mindset is and what they go through so that I could separate, so that I could disenmesh myself from them. And so that I could understand that I really wasn't crazy. But as soon as I had done a couple weeks of that, I went straight into doing the 4 things, which, as you know, is now the title of this channel. And the 4 things are: number 1, you go full no contact. You make it impossible for them to contact you. You have 0 contact with them. If you're married or you have kids, you have a lawyer and only the lawyer interacts. You have 0 interaction with them. Number 2 is you work all 12 steps of Codependence Anonymous, or whatever 12-step group works for you. And you do that with a sponsor, and then you sponsor somebody else. If you haven't done that, you haven't done number 2. Number 3, you work with a psychologist. And then number 4, you do some kind of daily meditative practice, which is really just step 11 of the 12 steps. And I hammer away at that because that is what gave me my healing. Now, if you haven't done the 4 things, you can't say that you know what that's like. I can. I know what it's like to be where you're at. I also know what it's like to be where you're at and just be in therapy. But I also know what it's like to be where you're at and be where I'm at. And I'm telling you, it's a huge difference. And so when I first started this channel, it was called Surviving BPD Relationship Breakup, which is exactly what was happening. I was surviving. I'm no longer a survivor. I'm completely healed from that relationship. I'm not healed from my codependence or the other issues in my life. I'm not healed from that. That's never going to be something that's 100%. I'm in a state of recovery, to the best of my knowledge. So I'm comfortable. But in terms of that relationship, thinking about her, ruminating over her, being in pain, wondering if she's still there. Oh my God, she was the best. Oh my God, she was horrible. You know, the rage, the self-righteous anger, the need, all that's gone. I don't have any of that left. I still have a therapist, but we don't talk about borderlines. I don't spend any time talking about things associated with that borderline relationship. So I can't understand why people would want to stay there for indefinitely. I don't understand it. I mean, I can understand that it is par for the course that what ends up happening is that codependents tend to protect their defense mechanisms. And staying in the victim mentality, there is a payoff. Staying in the drama of it all, staying in the pain, there's a payoff. And we've talked about that. That's really an unconscious desire to still get your parents' love. And for me, the 12 steps was the best way to resolve that issue. And so I'm telling you from personal experience again, and I'll say it again, you have to treat this like an infection. The infection will not go away on its own. You have to take antibiotics. If you don't take antibiotics, the infection won't go away. It doesn't matter to me whether you agree with me or not. Some of you seem to think that's what this is about. So just to give you an example, I really wish I could help you guys understand how passive aggressive you are. how controlling, how passive aggressive. Anyway, this guy says, in regards to my latest video where I was basically saying, I don't know what to do. Should I keep doing this channel or not? You guys don't want to get healed. I was whining and complaining, as somebody pointed out. This person says, have you ever met a person who says many intelligent things that you consider very useful for your knowledge and your growth, but at the same time says something you don't agree with? Of course you have. That's not what's happening here. First off, the incredible condescension, like I'm a 4-year-old. like I can't understand that concept. Oh, like he's helping me out. Oh my God, is that what it is? But this isn't about whether or not you agree with me. This has nothing to do with reasoning. This isn't Jesus. I intellectually believe in Jesus. The four things aren't something that you believe in. They're something that you do. You either do them or you don't. So people deciding that they don't agree with me is not an appropriate response to what is being presented. The appropriate response to somebody suggesting a course of action isn't whether or not you agree. It's whether or not you want to do the work. So be honest. Don't give me this nonsense about, well, I don't agree with you. I could care less whether you agree with me. I'm telling you these are the actions that are necessary for full, complete healing. You can choose not to do them. You can say, I don't want to do them. I don't, that you can say, but you can't say I don't agree with you, because you can't agree or disagree with something you haven't personally done. If we're standing here and there's a hill and and if I walk to the top of the hill and I look over and I see that there's a lake on the other side, and I walk back down and I say, there's a lake over there. Walk to the top of the hill and you'll see it. It's not an appropriate response for somebody to say, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you that if I walk to the top of the hill, I'll see a lake. That's not an appropriate response. An appropriate response is, I don't want to do it. So I know that this means something to you, but it's again, it shows, forgive me for saying so, how full of shit codependents are. This is like what codependence is. It's self-denial. To tell yourself that this is about belief and not about action. And you tell yourself that enough that you believe it. It doesn't change the fact that it's nonsense. So, I appreciate the condescension here. Have you ever met somebody that you didn't completely agree with? It's not what's happening here at all. You guys just don't want to do the work. It's that simple. You can't possibly agree or disagree because you haven't been there. And if you're in the slightest bit honest, you'll admit to that. And I can respect at least somebody, because it also means that you understand what's at stake. Not wanting to climb the hill to look at the lake. You understand what's at stake. Being in this craziness of I don't agree with you it's just bullshit. This person says, so you can understand us, the majority of your watchers. I would say the 99%. I mean, the truth is, I don't know. I don't know what the percentage is. And this person doesn't know either. I mean, I haven't taken a poll. I don't know. I believe that there are people who are underrepresented because they're no longer on the channel, because they have gone on to do the four things. And that's what I've said from the beginning. If you do the four things, you won't need to watch my channel anymore, because you'll be healed. You won't need to talk about the borderline anymore. So I don't know. But this person believes that they're speaking for the majority of the watchers, which again I find very presumptuous. 99% who consider very useful your comments about how borderlines and codependence operate, but do not agree with you that the only way to heal for everybody is doing the four things. Again, your agreement is meaningless. It's meaningless. You go to a doctor and he says, here's antibiotics, here's the cure. You agreeing or disagreeing with him is meaningless. He has the experience. He's given that same uh, treatment to hundreds or thousands of people, and it heals them every time. And the people that don't end up getting more sick. You agreeing or disagreeing with that is the height of hubris. I mean, the amount of self worship to think that your opinion of something that you have no experience in is meaningful is absolutely, again, it's just mind boggling. And is it the only way to heal? Are antibiotics the only way to heal? Probably not. But what's the likelihood that you're going to figure that out on your own? What's the likelihood you're going to figure out a better way? And can you honestly say that you're completely healed? It's not a who's better than the other person. Currently, like for instance, I'm on day 8 of COVID. I caught COVID 8 days ago, so I am not 100%. I'm almost there, but it's like when you're at the tail end of a really nasty virus. It's just so I know what it feels like to be completely healed, and I'm not there yet. It's not. I'm not a bad person because I'm not 100% yet. If you are not 100% healed from your borderline damage, doesn't mean you're good or bad. But I just don't see the point in not being completely honest. When I say I'm fully healed, I mean that I never think about the borderline. I never think about the relationship. I have no pain. I have no anger. I have no sadness. I have no rumination. I have nothing. It's like it never existed. In fact, the more that time goes by, the less I remember of all the details, which is why it's getting harder and harder for me to put videos up on here, because I don't remember, because the pain is gone. And I don't know why anybody wouldn't want that. And because I don't want to co-sign people staying in that, that's one of the reasons I'm gonna walk away from the channel. Because what's the point? I'm not going to condescend to you and stay where you are, because it would be like me going, oh, I know for me the 4 things are necessary because I want to be completely healed. But no, that's okay for you. You still need to stay in it. You still need to feel sorry for yourself and be in pain. And, that's okay for you. I'm not going to condescend to you. Every single person listening to me can be 100% healed if they're willing to go through the pain and the fear of taking the actions that will relieve them of their childhood defense mechanisms. And the only way that can happen, in my experience, is doing the 4 things. Psychology won't do it. It might be helpful, but again, people are getting this feeling of being helped, but it's only because they're getting the awareness of, oh my God, I have been victimized. Oh my God, she is insane. Oh my God. That awareness is very healing and very liberating, but it doesn't bring complete healing. You're still in the vortex of the insanity, and what ends up happening then is that your defense mechanisms chime in and you start to intellectualize where you are, and then you end up staying in it, and you end up saying stupid nonsense like this. Well, we just don't agree with you. You can't agree with something you haven't done. You don't have the requisite experience to have an opinion. You just don't want to do it. And that's a completely different thing. And again, I could respect that. If you said, I just don't want to do it, I would have nothing to say. Say, okay. But that's not the nature of the codependent, because codependents want to look good, and so they say this bullshit about that's not the only way, and I don't agree with you. And then they do this kind of passive aggressive thing. Um, let's keep going with this. So he goes on to, in great depth, explaining here are the things that he found that were very healing. Um, okay, I'm not going to read all that. It goes on to say how amazingly wonderful I am and the things that I, again, it doesn't make any sense. If you have such high praise for what I say, it would make sense that you would then follow my suggestions on how to completely heal. I obviously know something. It doesn't make any sense. Unless I'm naive, that I'm not really fully aware of how deeply entrenched people's defense mechanisms are in their fear. And perhaps I just need to realize that only a small percentage of people have the guts to do the work. And that's just the reality of things. I may need to just accept that. And or people just aren't ready yet. I don't know why anybody would want to stay in pain. That's, again, I don't understand that. Let's see. So this person goes on to say that it's a shame that most psychologists don't even know a fraction of what you know about borderlines. And yet you don't agree with me about what the solution is. This is what I mean. It would make more sense to me if you were to say, well, you're just another voice on YouTube, and yeah, you have some decent insights, but there's no shortage of people out there that have the same kind of insights, and they don't say you have to do the 4 things. That's not what you're saying. You're saying that I have a singular superior understanding, so much so that you're not able to get it from, I'll read it again. It's a shame that most psychologists don't even know a fraction of what you know about borderlines. If I really have that much knowledge, I mean, do you hear the disconnect? That you have the gall to know, that to not agree. I'm not gonna do that part. I'm not gonna do the most important part. It just doesn't make any sense. The disconnect is I mean, it's crazy. It's like this is a crazy person. This is how crazy people think. And then he goes on to say something that's just, I don't know where he gets this. He says, by the way, I know you like to know who is the person that puts comments in your channel. Where did you cut up with that? In fact, I've said, I don't care. I don't even know who you are. And I don't want to know. Why would I want to know? Then he goes on to give me his name, and he goes on to tell me how I can find his Facebook. And that is really codependent. What it means is that he wants to connect with me. And this is one of the things that I've found. People want to connect with me. They want my email. They want my phone number. They want to talk to me, but they don't want to do the work. Some people have asked, can they do sessions with me, coaching sessions, counseling sessions. And I've done a couple of them, and I come to the conclusion that it's a waste of time because they're really not interested in the work. It ends up becoming a psychotherapy session, and it's a psychotherapy session with somebody who just really wants to sort of rehash the craziness of it, and there's not really any, it's the typical psychologist scenario where the psychologist is sitting there, what do you think about that? And what, and the client just wanting to rehash forever and ever, the pain and all that. And I got burnt out. I did that a couple times, and I said, I can't do this. Because it wasn't accomplishing anything. I would end up saying, listen, the only thing to do is just go do the 4 things. I hear that you want to connect with somebody, you want to share your feelings, but all of that can be done in a CODA meeting. You can have a sponsor that you can talk to. You have a group full of people that you can relate to and talk to, who will listen to you. And then you have a set of actions that will actually create healing. So, anyway, it just, he's going to, on the one hand, condescend to me. And then he's going to tell me that he doesn't agree with me, even though as I said, you can't have an opinion on something you haven't done. And then he's going to turn around and say, and here's my contact information. Get a hold of me and be my friend. It's just so codependent. I don't want to be your friend. What I want for you is for you to go do the 4 things and heal. You don't want to do them? Great. Another one here. This is so weird. You guys are so weird. This person says, I'm sorry, brother, but I don't accept astrology and renounce it completely. I am sorry, I might watch BPD channel though. It's like, why should I care? And please find any of my videos on this channel where I talk about astrology. The fact that you have to bring that up, you have to bring up what you don't approve of, how superior you are that you won't do that, but you'll condescend to, maybe you'll watch my channel. Like, oh my God, another person might watch my channel. I don't care. You guys are so silly. Anyway, so that's it for me, guys. I'm done. I'm done with the channel. I'm going to go on a hiatus. I've made my case. And again, according to you, at least some of you, I have wisdom far beyond, above and beyond the mortal psychologist, and yet you're unwilling to do the work. So there's nothing left for me to say. I've said everything, and as I said earlier, I've lost the inspiration because of the healing. It's been 2 years now, and I'm continuing to do the work, and I've healed to such a degree that I don't even remember what it was like. I don't remember the craziness. It was like something that happened in another life. I can remember it was really bad, and that's about all. But I have no memories associated with it, and no pain, and I have zero. I'm bored when people want to dredge it up and get into it. It just bores me. As I said, what I feel like people want me to do is give them BPD porn or BPD soap opera. And they'll come and listen to me, delve into the brain of the borderline, but nobody's willing to look at themselves. And nobody seems to be willing to do the work to heal themselves. They just want to gossip. And again, it's like porn. It's just masturbation. It's not accomplishing anything. And so if you are on here and you do want to heal, I've given you where to do that and how to do that, and it's up to you to follow through with that if you want. And if not, that's completely your choice. If you choose not to do the actions, great. But for me, I feel objectified, as I said, because I feel like you guys want me only for the porn aspect. You want me to go deep into the, do the Rain Man thing where I go deep into the borderline mindset, and you want to get off on that, and you want me to do that for your own benefit. You want to have that projection, which is what it is. The projection of feeling like you're connecting with me, and there's this deep connection, which is pure projection. There's no reality to that. And I don't want that. I don't want that for the same reason I didn't want to be with my borderline ex. It wasn't a real connection. But it all feels like the same, like there really isn't any recovery in it. And I want to be in recovery. So for that reason, I'm out of here. If I get inspired about something, I may come on, because just to hear myself talk and get it out and enjoy talking about it. But Yeah, that's it. So the channel will stay up. You guys can keep watching it and watch it over and over again, and get out your popcorn and listen to your borderline porn if you want. And I may or may not see you in the future. Thank you for the journey. Thank you for being there, for allowing me to do what I needed to do to heal. And yeah, I wish all of you the best. Stay safe, stay healthy, and that's all.